Hello, everyone. I'm going to make a sermon video today. I'm in the series on approaching God, the lesson we learned from Naomi's advice to Ruth and approaching Boaz. And I'm going to be in Ruth 3, 1 through 5 in the King James Version of the Bible. And then Naomi, her mother-in-law, said unto her, My daughter, shall I not seek rest for thee, that it may be well with thee? And now as Boaz of our kindred, whose maidens thou wast, behold, he winneth barley tonight in the threshing floor. Wash thyself therefore. And the first one was knowing what you're after. Wash thyself therefore, and anoint thee, and put thy garment upon thee. And that's what we're on today. And get thee down to the floor, but not make thyself known to the man until he have done eating and drinking. And it shall be when he lieth down, that thou shalt mark the place where he shall lie, and thou shalt go in and uncover his feet, lay thee down, and he will tell thee what thou shalt do. And then she said unto her, All that thou sayest unto me, I will do. And that's where we at. So that means to prepare, for you to prepare for something that hasn't even happened yet, but you're getting prepared for it. You have to get the garments on now for where you're going to be going then. You won't have time to change garments when you get to the place. To be prepared, God is going to bless people who are prepared. God is going to have a prepared person for the prepared place. Prepare. It's before. And pare, like a paring knife. You can take an apple and a paring knife, and you can pit it to the contours of a particular shape. So that's what you're trying to do. You're trying to shape yourself to the contours of something that God can accept and can love. If you change your garments to prepare for your goal, and then you're going to look ridiculous for a time in the place that you're presently at, you have to prepare beforehand. You got to put your clothes on. If you're out mowing the yard and you're going to go for a job interview, you've got to prepare for that. You can't wear the same garments that you wore for the mowing the yard to your job interview. Have you ever been in a hotel or someplace? You was at a wedding. I know my grandson got married in Jamaica, and I performed the ceremony except getting down to where they pronounced, because I didn't have a license in Jamaica to pronounce them. But there were people there were people where we were going, in and around us, that might have been in swimming trunks or flowery hats and things on. They weren't going to the wedding, and so we looked out a place. Have you ever been in a hotel, or someplace, and you had a tux on, was getting ready for a wedding, and almost everybody else had on swimming trunks, and you felt out of place? Everybody's looking at you, and you feel like you need to explain, I'm going to a wedding. You don't have to tell everybody you're going to a wedding, because what you got on tells them where you're prepared for. It's like that in life. If you're working and studying and working for God, you don't have to tell people, I'm working for God, I'm studying. They can tell by your preparedness. If you need to look at you and your preparation and be able to tell your destination where you're going to, people need to look at you and can tell that on their own. Understand, my brothers and sisters, that there's going to be pressure on you because the others are not going with you. They're going to be stand behind. But it's worth them staring at you for you to be prepared. I haven't got it yet, but I'm ready for it. I'm prepared for it. I'm after it. That's like wisdom. I started when I was 11 years old. We didn't even go to church. I haven't obtained it yet, but I'm after it. Practicing on being blessed. I'm going to already be in a place where when the cry comes from the bridegroom that he's ready, I'll be prepared to go out and meet him. When you're to be so ready that the people who knew you before will be confused. He's trying to be all of that, but I knew him when. And in my case, they talk about when me and Brother Jack Kelly was sitting on a piano bench in Huntsville. You'll have something on different if somebody comes to pick you up to take you to go out to eat, if it's going to be McDonald's or if it's going to be an elegant restaurant. 1 Peter 5:5-6 says, likewise, ye younger, submit yourselves unto the elder, yea, all of you be subject one to another. Be clothed with humility, for God resisteth the proud and giveth grace to the humble. Humble yourselves under the mighty hand of God, that he may exalt you in due season. When we get ready for church, if Melinda's around, I like her opinion. I think she does good with that. And I said, does this go good with this? Is this going to match this? But you know, friends, brothers and sisters, that humility looks good with anything you got on. Isaiah 61:3 says, to appoint them that mourn in Zion, to give unto them beauty for ashes, the oil of joy for mourning, the garment of praise for the spirit of heaviness, that they may be called the trees of righteousness, the planting of the Lord, that he may be glorified. Have you ever looked at any old pictures lately? Don't the clothes from years back look silly today? Fashions change. Hemlines go up and down. I've seen that. The cuffs come and go. Ties widen. Ties narrow. Stripes are in. Stripes are out. Bold colors reign. Pastels take over. We never know from one season to the next season what clothing will be in fashion. But let the humility of Christ be your garment of choice. Those who wear humility will be clothed in honor. Honor never goes out of style. I heard that the renowned Quaker scholar Rufus Jones was speaking of the importance of having a radiant countenance. After his address, a woman with almost an unbelievably plain face came up and asked him what he would do if he had a face like hers. He replied, while I have troubles of my own of that kind, I've discovered that if you light it up from within, any old face you have is good enough. You have to be prepared for the place that you're going to. You can't wait until you're 50 years old. If you feel like you've got a place in the ministry, you can't wait till you're 50 years old to start preparing for that. You got to be prepared for it before you get there. People don't come out of left field. Don't ever do nothing. Don't never see anything out of them. Don't pray for nobody. And then they step out and say they feel like God's called them into the ministry. Never check on nobody. Never say about anybody else. My friends and brothers and sisters, it just does not work that way. When a man is called into the ministry, it won't catch people by surprise. You'll hear people say, like, I could have told you that a long time ago. I knew that the Lord had his hand on that boy or that man. And you got to be dressed for the job that you're going to go to. You can't wait till the last minute and then try to get prepared. I started preparing a long time ago. You know, in Titus, he said, he advised the young men to have a pattern of good works. You've got to have a pattern of good works, especially if you're going to be an elder or a minister, because if you're going to tell them to come to church and they haven't seen you come to church, if you're going to tell them to work for God and they never see you testify, if you're going to tell them to check on people and they never know of you checking on anybody, it's not going to work. You got to be the example. And I know when my kids were small, they'd like to get in my shoes and walk, and it would be so out of place, but it was funny. But I let them do it. Now I got a great grandson. He's done the same thing. Try to get in Papa's shoes, and the shoes have to fit before you can order that size. We need men, good, capable men. I see maybe I'm 71, and I see these ministers as older than me, and those are much younger, and I know God's going to make a way. Wherever there was a Moses, there was a Joshua. I believe he's going to send somebody, but we got a gap. And so everybody that can work, we need you working. It looks like now that we don't know when we're going to get back to church because of COVID-19, but be preparing. Be preparing anyway. So I hope this has helped you in some way. If you could, leave me some comments and let me know what's helping you, what's not helping you, what you need. Feedback is very appreciated. If you need me, my number is 256-508-4410. I'm in the directory in the Meridianville Holiness Church, in the Holiness Church directory. And if you need me, let me know. Contact me. I might not get right back to you, but I'll try to get back to you when I can. So may God bless you is my prayer.